welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie Jessica.
So it is that time again. It is time for those 1 minute book recs. This is where we go over all the books we read this past week with 1 minute synopsises for each book. Before we get started with that though,
well, we would love for you to hit that subscribe button and like the video if you're enjoying it. And feel free to always comment. We love to hear from you.
So I was gone this week. I was camping. So you were alone. How was your reading week?
My reading week was pretty good. I read 13 books.
Yeah, my reading week was pretty good. I read 14. I'm only going to talk about 13 because one was for work. But one of those we read together. Is that including the one that we read together?
Yes.
Our first book that we read together was BJ Alpha's newest book, Domination. So, Mandy, I'm going to let you take it from here.
Why me?
I don't know.
You did not prepare me for this.
I'm sorry. This is out now, this release. We did a reading vlog for it.
Yes.
Get the book, read along with us. It was amazing. But what was it about?
Okay, so it's number 4 in the Mafia Daddies. So this is Vinny's book. Vinny is the father to the guys we've seen in the previous books. It has all the BJ Alpha kinks in it. And this is him and his step granddaughter, who he has not spent any time with. He knows who she is eventually, but this is not like a perverted situation. This is what I'm trying to say. I don't know. Yeah. And I love the banter with Rocco. That was like a highlight for me.
Yeah, we both really enjoyed this book. We both gave it 5 stars. So
yes,
go get the book.
If you like a little Taboo Mafia Daddy stuff, this is definitely gonna do it.
It was so good. It really was. Okay. All right. So are you ready for us to really get going and talk about my first book, I guess?
Please. The timer has started.
Okay, so the first book that I know it hasn't. The first book that I have is actually one that we're going to have for our buddy read, or not our buddy read. It is for our book club, and it is Pestilence by Laura Thalassa. But I did a reread of this. It's one of my favorites because new graphic audio just came out about 2 weeks ago for this, and I was like, you know what? I love this book so much. We have this reading thing, this, reading. Oh my gosh, why can't I say book club? Book club is coming up. Let me do a reread of it. Let me do a listen with this new graphic audio. And oh my gosh, it was so good. The graphic audio just did it for me. Normally there's like weird kissing sounds and stuff, and I just didn't find that with this one. I just really enjoyed it. So this is about Sarah and Pestilence. He is one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and he comes to Earth. And as he's riding through their little town in Canada, Sarah draws the short straw. She's a firefighter, and it is up to her to stop him, but he ends up taking her as his captive. So I loved the graphic audio. If you guys want a new way to listen to it, that is one. It was just that good. So good. Okay.
Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. What do you have to start us off with?
Well, I have Death Valley by Karina Halley, which I read for our convincing last week for Dark Cowboy.
Okay.
So I'll try and be brief on this. So Aubrey's sister was obsessed with the Donner Party and all of that, and she decides to go off up into like that whole area, Donner Pass and all of that, to go exploring, and she never comes back, and that was almost 3 years ago. And so Aubrey is reading, I think it was the newspaper, maybe an internet article or something, where she reads about this man, Jensen, who tracks a missing hiker and saves his life in the same vicinity. So she goes to his ranch after she tracks him down and asks him to please help her try and locate her sister. Like, she understands they're probably locating remains, but she just wants to try and find out what happened to her sister. And she offers a lot of money, so he is so inclined to help.
And that's it. I didn't even hear a timer.
My time was up, but
No, I didn't hear the timer.
You never came back for me.
No, I didn't. I didn't come back to get you. Sorry. Okay. So that is out because I have lost my train of thought. So yes, so that was our Convincing My Bestie. If you want to see what Mandy thought of it, you go watch that. Right?
Yes. Why are you being so weird?
I don't know. Why are you being so weird? Okay.
What was your next book?
So my next book was I Could Never by Penelope Ward. This one I've had on my Kindle for a while and I decided to jump into it. So this is about Carly and Josh. So Carly was what? What are you laughing at?
I'm not laughing.
Oh, yeah, you are now. So
well,
Carly,
now I am because you're like asking what I'm laughing about.
Okay. Carly was engaged a couple of years prior to the book starting, and her fiance has died in a car accident. And her fiance had a sister and a brother. The brother is grown, but he has severe autism. He doesn't speak. He's just he loves his devices, and he's been taken care of by their father. Well, the father just had a massive heart attack, and he has passed away. The sister's been taking care of the brother, but the sister isn't really equipped to take care of the brother. And so Carly has decided to go, she's driven from California to the Midwest, and she is going to help take care of Scotty, the brother, until they can find a facility for him. When she gets there, a little while after she arrives at the house and starts to get Scotty settled, that is where Josh comes in. So Josh comes barreling through the front door. He is the best friend to her deceased fiance. And they have not liked each other for years. She overheard him say something one time where it insinuated he didn't like her. And so they both held grudges for whatever reason. And she's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, I'm here to help with Scotty because you're not going to be able to do all this stuff. You can go now. And she's like, oh, no, I'm not going anywhere. They decided to do it together. And then this is their story. I honestly gave it 4.5 stars. I loved it. I loved their dynamic with Scotty. I loved seeing their relationship. It was a very, very good book. I listened to the audio. It was wonderful. What's with the big pause?
I don't know.
Are you processing?
Happening.
I don't know what's happening either. Okay. This is what happens when we record in the afternoon.
You're all over me today.
Okay. What do you got next?
Okay. Next, I read Alive and Wells by Bailey Hannah. This is my first.
Oh, wait. What did I do?
You've muted me.
I muted both of us. This is a mess.
Thank you. Okay. So, I don't know. I said this was my first Bailey Hannah book with her.
I heard you say this was my first, and then it went away.
Okay.
Okay.
So, this is also the first book in this series, Wells Ranch. So, we have Cicely. She leaves her abusive husband and has been in communication with somebody who works on this ranch who's offered her a safe place to stay and a job. And so things get really bad with her husband and she decides to flee. So she leaves and goes to this ranch to live and work. And this is where she meets Austin. Austin is running the ranch. It's his family's ranch and he's the one in charge. And there's definitely some chemistry and attraction between the two of them, but he is very grumpy and closed off. And yeah, so it is a cowboy, not dark cowboy, but just a cowboy romance. I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I did get a little tiny bit bored in a few spots where I wanted it to just kind of pick up a little bit. But I did really enjoy it. So if you like that heroine on the run book, you'd probably enjoy this one.
And I do, and I have that book on my shelf. It's been there for almost a year now. For about a year now, so.
Yeah, I was like, when I went to get it off my shelf, I was marking it that I was reading it. And I'm like, wait, this came out like a long time ago. I just got this when we were, it came out right before we went to Romance Invades the Rockies last year because I took it to get it signed.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that was a year ago.
It was a year ago.
Oops.
Funny how time flies. Okay, well, The next book that I read was a first time listen, but it was a reread. So later this month, A Rift in the House of Bruin comes out on the 24th of July, and that is by T.S. Kinley, and it is the spinoff of her Second to the Right. And I wanted to do a listen because I hadn't listened. Audio has come out since I read it. I physically read it the first time, and audio just came out. So I'm just going to tell you a brief synopsis, and then I'll let you know what's going on here. So this is about Gwen. She is a descendant of Wendy. This is a Peter Pan retelling. She's a descendant of Wendy, and one night after a really bad night out, she's actually taking care of her sister who is dying of cancer. Their parents have passed away, and so it's just her and her sister. She has a really bad night out on her birthday, and Peter Pan shows up in her bedroom and decides to take her to Neverland. And at first she thinks she's just, hallucinating or just remembering the stories that her grandma used to tell her. But then she gets there. She goes, she realizes it's serious that she really goes there. This is a Why Choose romance. It includes a couple of the Lost Boys. By the way, they've all grown up at this point. Something happened with Peter. They've all grown up. It is explained. Captain Hook makes an appearance as well. I listened to the audio for this one. I'm gonna go back to the both of us. So this is a prime example of had I listened to the audio and not physically read the book the first time around, I probably wouldn't have rated it as high as I did the first time. I gave this 5 stars the first time around. I did not like the audio at all. The person, now they both have British accents, understandably so. They should in this book, but the male narrator, and I don't remember who it was, and I'm not going to call the guy out, sounded too posh. He sounded too fancy to be Peter. He didn't sound, if he's supposed to be this guy who's lived for a very long time, but technically in his early 20s, he should sound like a man. He sounded like a little boy, and I just didn't care for that. So I do need to do the reread because I need to get to the book where we see the sister come to Neverland so I can remember what happened in that book. But at the same time, I don't know that I want to listen to the audio. I love these books are amazing. The audio just don't do them justice. So, I mean, it could just be me. But the female narrator was great. I didn't care for the male.
All right.
It happens. We talk about it all the time. Sometimes
Yes.
books that we read, we give higher, physically read, we give higher marks to, and there's a reason.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. Rant over.
All right. Next, I read The Sleepover by Daisy Jane. I did get the ARC for this, and it comes out on July 15th. It is part of the Shared World of Clearview Country Club. So in this one, we have Vivian. Vivian is an only child. She's lived with her father. It's just the two of them, and he's been very overprotective of her. And he is getting remarried, and they're moving across the country to Florida. And when they get there, she ends up meeting a girl who invites her, that they're like the same age. She invites her to go out because this is like her senior year that she had to move. And so this girl like invites her to go out shopping and different stuff. And then they end up going to a bonfire like type party on the beach. And again, overprotective father, and she is like determined to grow up a little bit. So she's really wanting to lose her V card. And she meets this really hot guy there at the bonfire. They go off and she loses her V card. And the next day, she wakes up and goes downstairs. And remember, they just got here, right? And gets to the kitchen table. And there is Reed, the guy that she lost her virginity to the night before. But he is there because that is her new stepbrother. And there is something that will be sticking around for 18 years.
I love that.
Yes. So I really enjoyed it. I rated it 4 stars. It is a novella, so not as long as you're used to with Daisy Jane's books.
Well, speaking of novellas, that's what I read next. So I read Must Love Hockey by Serena Bowen. This is a novella in her Brooklyn Bruisers little world there. I think this is 5.5 if I remember right. So this is about Emily and James, or Jimbo. He is the equipment manager for the Brooklyn Bruisers. So this is a hockey romance. Emily has been dating the same guy since middle school, and I think he was a bank I think is what it said he did. But he is out schmoozing clients and he makes her go along. It's always about his schedule and what needs to be done so that he can work his way up the ladder for their future, is how it is always phrased for her. And so they're at a Brooklyn Bruisers game and she starts to feel kind of funny. Like her hands feel kind of tingly. Her throat's starting to close in a little bit. She just kind of doesn't feel right. Her lips feel a little funny, but she doesn't realize what's happening until after the game. And she tells her fiance that she doesn't want to go out for drinks with him and these clients that he's schmoozing. She just wants to go home, which he gets upset about, and he leaves with the clients anyway. And she kind of turns around, and that's where she meets Jimbo. And he's like, hey lady, you got like hives all over. Like what is going on here? So basically she's going into anaphylactic shock over something that she's eaten. They don't know what. And so he brings her into the hockey area where all the Brooklyn Bruisers players are. And he ends up taking her to the emergency room where he waits for her all night long. So this is where their relationship starts. It is a novella. I'm not going to give any more away because that's pretty much all it is. I gave it 4 stars. I enjoyed being back in the Brooklyn Bruisers world.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, speaking of thrillers,
Okay.
well, that's how you always transition, and I don't know how to transition from that.
Well, we'll let you have it. Okay.
Okay, so speaking of thrillers, I read Vi Keelan's newest book, Someone Knows. And in this one, we have Elizabeth. So Elizabeth is a professor. She's an English professor, and she's teaching a summer writing class. And so part of what happens is the students, I should say, send her a chapter at a time, and she critiques it. They send in their next chapter. Well, somebody named Hannah is sending in chapters to a story that she knows very well, and it is about a high school student who has a relationship with their teacher that is very abusive, and she ends up killing the teacher to protect her best friend. And that's what this whole story that she keeps getting is. And she is positive no one knows the truth about what has happened. But somebody somehow has figured this out many, many years later. I think it's like almost 20 years later, I believe. And so she decides she needs to go back home to try and figure out what is going on. And who knows? Because someone knows. I loved it. I rated it 5 stars.
Awesome.
I love a good thriller.
Okay, so speaking of thriller, I have a suspense to talk about. Does that work that way?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, the next book I read is MonstrousUrges by Jagger Cole. I almost called it somebody else because this title has been used. So this is about Taylor and Drazen. And so Taylor was in a car accident when she was 18. She is now a lawyer. Her and her buddies have a law firm that they run together, but she got amnesia when she was 18 and in this car accident. This car accident also killed her parents. Drazen is one of her clients. She doesn't realize this, but he is one of her clients. She doesn't realize exactly who he is because she also has this, like, she really loves to be chased through the woods and hunted down, and a little bit of BDSM is kind of fun for her. And so she signs up for this situation to happen. This guy contacts her, chases her down, and she actually uses the safe word because she gets a little scared. Then she gets in contact with him again, and he says, okay, this is the last time, like, if you use the safe word, this is it, you're out, kind of a thing. And he chases her down. They're about to get hot and heavy when he sees a tattoo on her hip, and he's like, oh my gosh, you're my wife. And she's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Well, the guy turns out to be Drazen, and he kidnaps her and takes her to his island because his wife had that exact tattoo. His wife, who's been dead since she was 18 from a car accident. And then, shit happens from there.
What did you rate it?
Oh, solid 4 stars. It was really good. I enjoyed it. It's like the fifth or sixth book in the series, though, and I don't think you have to read those ones because I didn't before I jumped into this one. But I was distracted a few different times because it was when we were camping and I was doing some stuff, and so I think if I was listening to it and had I paid a little more attention, it could have been higher. But I did enjoy it quite a bit. I think you'd like it.
Okay.
You like Amnesia a lot.
I do.
Mm-hmm. So
Well, let's make an abrupt turn to
where are we
hockey.
going? To hockey. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so this is Fake as Puck by Sarah Smith, and I did get this as an ALC, but it is already out. So this is like a promotion type ALC. I mean, they still call it an ALC, but it's already out. So, anyways, we have Sophia. Sophia is a child genius. So, her growing up, she hasn't gone through a lot of the same things that most teenagers into adulthood do because she became a doctor. So, she's extremely young doctor and just very inexperienced in life. She also happens to be the hockey coach's daughter that he is pretty protective of. And then we have Xander, who is kind of like the hockey bad boy. And her ex-boyfriend is kind of giving her some problems, and which just throws them very quickly into a this is my boyfriend, fake dating situation. And the two of them just really kind of hit it off. And it's also coach's daughter. So we have the whole thing of like the coach does not want his daughter dating like the biggest player in hockey. But Xander just hasn't found a reason to not be. I think they call him the panty dropper. And so, that's, I like those stories where we have that bad boy who then all of a sudden is like, oh, yes, you're the one.
You're the one.
Yeah.
Would you rate it?
So I rated it 4 stars. It is narrated by Tim Page and Shiloh James. And I think I feel really bad because I am sure I'm going to one time say this was the first time I've ever listened to it. And probably like a month ago, I said the same thing. But I feel pretty confident I have not listened to Tim Page or Shiloh James, but I enjoyed both of their narration a lot.
I've listened to Shiloh James, but Tim Page, I don't think I've heard of that name yet.
See, Shiloh James sounded familiar, but then I wasn't really sure. So I could be wrong on
Mm-hmm.
it being my first time listening, but I think it was.
Okay.
But anyway, so this is a pretty lighthearted hockey romance if you're looking for that.
Okay.
This would be a good one to listen to.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, the next book that I picked up is one that I didn't realize how long this has been on my shelf, but it's been physically been on my shelf for a year and a half because Mandy bought me this book for my 44th birthday.
Were there a lot of dust bunnies on it?
No, I dust it quite often. I just needed to get to it. But it's one that I should have read a while ago because I did love it. And that is Almost Like You by Karen Crompton. And you guys really I love Karen, and y'all should be reading this stuff. So this is a cowboy romance. It is not technically a dark cowboy romance, but there are some little darker elements that pop in here. So I don't know, Karen. It might be. I don't know. But this is about Tessa and Elliot. So Tessa is on the run. She has been married. She lives in New Orleans with her husband on this big ranch. And he is very mean and abusive to her. And so she takes off. She leaves. She's on the run. And she ends up in Wyoming. She takes a job as a housekeeper for Elliot. Now, Elliot's been through some stuff. He is very grumpy. He is very closed off. And he has quite a few of his own issues. But she takes a job as his housekeeper. And he gives her a list of the stuff that she's supposed to do. But the one thing she is not supposed to do by any, like ever, is go into his bedroom. That is his one rule. Now he is grumpy, grumpy, grumpy. She's not. And I loved it. It was so good. I obviously gave it 5 stars. I mean, it is a really good cowboy romance. Y'all should be reading it. I should have read it sooner. I'm sorry, Karen. I should have read it sooner.
You really should have.
I really should have. It was good. It was so good. I need an Elliot. There was one part though in the beginning where she's talking about one of her friends reading a book or something, and she talks about it's a blue and white cover and with a tree in the side of a guy's face, and I was like, I know exactly what book that is. That is one of Karen's other books. It was the very first one that I read, and I loved it. So I did like that reference in there. So, and of course I'm spacing on the name of it now, but I hate when my brain doesn't do that. What's it called?
Oh, I have it.
The Winter Before.
Yes.
There it goes. Woo! Yeah, I loved it. I
Wow.
love that she
You
had that reference.
screamed that out like you were about to win $1 million on Jeopardy or something.
That's what it felt like. I remembered my brain worked. Yay! Okay,
Okay.
what do you got?
Well, now we're going to do another 180.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going to do a 360 and take it right back to hockey again.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Okay. So this is a hockey romance, but the story is much more focused outside of hockey. Like it's a big part of the story, but it's not. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
So we have this is called Pen by Sawyer Bennett. This was my first read of Sawyer Bennett, and it's not going to be my last. And I actually listened to this audiobook. It comes out on July 15th, and it is narrated by Lucy Rivers and Sean Masters, who I've listened to many times. They do a phenomenal job with this. So we have Pen. Pen is closed off, very, very guarded, kind of a loner. Just he's our damaged hero, okay? And Mila shows up to town desperate to talk to him, and he keeps refusing her. And but she's like desperate because somebody is threatening her pretty like intensely, and they're gonna come after Penn next. And so this is like romantic suspense, like big time. And I don't want to give anything away because we don't really understand why somebody's coming after them. You have to like read the book to like get all the pieces to it. So I'm just gonna kind of leave it at that. I really enjoyed it. I rated it 4 stars. The romantic suspense was like on point. It was different than what I thought was going to end up happening. So I like that when it's not super predictable, or even if it's predictable, but it's not just like, it doesn't feel like a wash, rinse, repeat type thing. And
Mhm.
this did not feel that way at all. This is number 17 in the Pittsburgh Titans series. I think that's what I wrote. Sometimes my handwriting gets a little wild, but it's the 17th book in this series. So I don't know if you would have read the other books, if you would have a better idea of what was going on, but I had not. So I had to wait for them to piece everything together for me on
Okay.
what their connection was and everything. But I really enjoyed it.
Okay. Well, since we're in hockey, let's stay in hockey.
Which is funny because when we did the live show with Amber and Jen, I was saying I was kind of getting burnt out on
We're
hockey.
getting burned out on hockey. Apparently this week there's quite a few hockey to talk about. Okay, so this next book that I read is Surprise for the Sniper. It's by Sienna Trapp. And this is about Liv.
And this is hockey?
Yes.
Okay.
So he's a sniper. He's a hockey sniper. Like he's smaller. He's shorter than the other guys. He's not as bulky. Like, and he gets the goal. He gets the puck into the goal. He's considered the
you can
sniper.
understand why. I'll pause the timer while I explain this, but hopefully you understand why I'm confused when you read a book about a sniper.
Yes.
That I was thinking like
A sniper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Okay. All right. So this is about Liv. When she's 16, she finds out that she's pregnant. She lives in this really tiny, small town. She is actually the pastor's daughter, and she has been in love with Benji. They've been dating for a while. Benji plays hockey, but he is a foster child that has been taken in by a family in town. He has a lot of trauma from the way that he was raised. He was just left at a fire station by his dad when he was like 9 or something. Like, old enough to know that your parents just should not just leave you at a fire station.
Wow.
It's just sad. Poor Benji. He's got some issues. So the night that she goes to town, because she's freaking out, she's 16. Her parents are the pastors, right? Small town. The talk is going to be talking. And so she finally gets the nerve to tell him later that night. They meet up. She takes out of the house to meet up with him. And before she can tell him about the baby, he tells her that he has been asked, like, he's gotten a spot on this league team that is going to take him out of state. And it is the break that he needs to get into playing hockey as a profession down the road. He's a little bit older than her. He's like a year older than her, but he was held back. So then the book jumps forward about 9 years, where she has an 8-year-old son. She has now become a neonatal nurse, or a labor and delivery nurse, and he has just won the cup. and a championship of some kind. And his people who are in charge of him, his little wranglers, decide that it would look good if he would go back to his hometown and do some charity work. And that is where he meets this adorable little boy who is amazing at hockey. Go figure. And then he sees the child's grandma. And then he does some math. So this is their story. I gave it 4 stars. It was great. There was some negative stuff about how like he pays her. There's a few negative reviews that I just don't necessarily agree with, because people are like, oh my gosh, he love bombed her because he put AC in their house. Their house didn't have any AC. The electricity was about to be shut off and he paid the bills. He's just trying to take care of his kid. Like there were things like that. And I was like, whatever. It's not that deep. It's a story. It's fiction. So just my opinion.
All right. Well,
Okay.
I think that I am no longer have any hockey to talk about.
I don't think I do either.
You have football, I think, coming up.
I do have a football coming up, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go to Boss Billionaire, Not His Baby.
Okay, tell us about it.
Okay, so I am behind the time, like greatly. I know I am. Everyone's read this but me, apparently. So I read P.S. You're Intolerable by Julia Wolf. So this is about Catherine. Catherine finds herself in just kind of a really random predicament of being pregnant with her friend's baby. They are roommates. They're remodeling a house together. They're going to flip it, make a lot of money. But Liam has kind of been in charge of all this. And then he decides to go back to Australia and basically ghosts for the most part. So she has just gotten, before Liam leaves, she gets this new job working for Elliot. She's like his personal secretary. But Elliot is one of those grumpy billionaire type bosses that's just kind of difficult. And so and he wants her to handwrite his to-do list every day. So she does that. And then she writes a PS and like something about him, like PS, you're intolerable. PS, I hope your shoe sticks and gum. Like that's not actually from the book, but like stuff like that. And she cuts that off and hides it in her desk. And Elliot is just, he comes off kind of grumpy, but I feel like he's just a little detached from reality a little bit. Like he tries to do nice things for her, but just really doesn't hit the mark. And so he just needs a little extra help to figure some stuff out. And then, yeah, she goes on maternity leave and he really misses his assistant and shows up to find out that her home is not much of a home. Like it's pretty bad. So he's like, grab the baby, you're moving in with me.
I love it when they do that stuff.
Yeah. So I rated it 4 stars.
Okay. All right. Well, the next book that I picked up is one that has been on my Kindle for a very, very long time. Like I am not even going to throw out a time frame because I'd probably be embarrassed.
Look at you clearing stuff out, though.
I know. So this is Trucker by Jamie Slosher. And I would say if you are a fan of May Alder's Berenson trucking series, you would like this one quite a bit. So this is about Angel. She is a runaway. She is a few days shy of her 18th birthday, and she is trying to go from wherever she is in the Midwest to California, where she believes where her mom is in prison and her mom is about to get out of prison. So she lives with an aunt. The aunt has just passed away. Dad is gone. Travis is our trucker, but he's not a thick around the middle trucker. Apparently he keeps up on himself and he is hot. And so he sees this girl at the truck stop and he thinks, wow, she's just really attractive. Doesn't think anything of it, sees her coming out of the women's washroom, completely like drenched, looking like a drowned rat. He still thinks she's hot. And then a little ways down the road, a little while later, he sees her hitchhiking down the road. And so he picks her up. And this is also a virgin hero and heroine. So he is also a virgin. And he sees her and he's like, he gets her in the car. He starts talking to her. Apparently he has a delivery to make in California a few weeks down the road. So she agrees to stay with him until that time. But, you know, they become attached. So
Okay.
I gave it 4 stars. I enjoyed it.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, now I'm going to talk about a book that I told you back at the end when we did our end of the year wrap up. And I said on the spot, we each need to pick a book to read.
So you're reading Emil Marion. Emil Marion's book.
Yes. What's the name of it?
Well, it's not claimed.
What is the name of
Named.
it?
It's Dove's story. No, not Dove.
What?
Is her name Dove? Dove.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
What book did you pick to read?
I think it was Jennifer Hartman's Irreversible.
I read that in January, though.
Then it wasn't that one. Oh, The Love and Return, I think, is what I chose.
That would track.
I'll have to go back and look.
Okay.
For a while. I'll have to go back and look.
Yes. So I know I had named.
Yeah, I remember that.
I know that.
Yeah.
I don't remember what you picked. I think you've told me a few times it was Irreversible, and I think I've gone along with that. But as we're talking about
that didn't come out until January. Now that reminds me, it was either The Lovely Return, or it's Something in the Way by Jessica Hawkins. It could have been that too. I don't know. We'll have to go back and watch. I have to figure that out.
Okay.
Okay.
No dessert for you until you figure it out.
Oh man. Okay.
Okay.
Tell us about Named. Yes.
Okay. So this is about a girl who goes by Girl. And it's actually listed as historical romance, but it's a Western. So I don't know if we call Westerns historical romances now. But we have Girl. So she has grown up with this horribly abusive father. And when she was little, her mom died, and he got tired of listening to her cry for her mom. So he cut her throat. And so she doesn't want to speak. And everyone in the town even calls her Girl, which is just really sad. And like, he's just awful abusive. Like, if she doesn't clean well or cook well, like, then he'll like lock the door and she has to sleep outside. And he's just a horrible, horrible man. And so she is trying to save up some money that he doesn't know about so that she can run. But before that happens, he has a gambling problem and ends up in a situation where he's basically going to like sell her off to try and clear his gambling debts. Well, that is when Jedediah, am I saying that right, has shown up. And he is from a family whose tradition is to, oh, you are going to be my bride, and do what Jessica loves, like basically sling her over his shoulder and ride off into the night with her. And so he is ready to do that. And then he finds out that the dad is selling her. So he pays for her. They get married right there and off they ride. And so this is their story. And when you think about what I just told you, you probably are going to think like Jedediah is like kind of a gruff, not great man. But he is the cinnamon roll hero that I love to read about. He stands up for her. He is very alpha, but he is so all about her. And I loved it.
Yeah.
And I love his interaction with his brother too. That was funny.
So, side note, his brother is the book that she's currently writing that I am alpha reading right now.
Yeah.
So
Warren, right?
Yeah.
No? Warren?
And yes, and I'll tell you who the heroine is when we get done. Because you met her in the book too.
I don't want to know any secrets.
It's not a secret. I just tell you when we get done. Because I don't want to give away anything for them if they read the book. So, okay. Well, the next book
I know who you're talking about. Duh, that was fairly obvious that was going to happen. I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah. So, okay.
Sorry.
It's all good. So,
I don't have a headache, so.
I definitely have a headache. Yeah. So, okay. Well, let's talk about my next book so we can get this done. I want to
take a nap.
Well, then let's get this done.
Okay, so mean.
The book that I read next is The Wrong Quarterback by C.R. Jane. I don't know why I put this one off. I just did. Apparently,
I own that book.
I know. So do I. Obviously. One of my toxic traits is just putting books aside that I know is going to be good for whatever reason. I don't know. Anyhow, so this is about Casey and Parker. So Casey, at the beginning of this book, the first chapter is really hard. I think it's the prologue. It's a little harder to get through. But Casey's in an accident. She loses her brother, and his best friend and her have a moment. Like, she's always had a crush on the best friend. The best friend decides to go off to college in Tennessee, where her brother was supposed to go, but she's a couple years behind them in school. This also damages her hand, where she can no longer play piano like she used to, and it is a big deal for her. And so instead of going to, like, she was talking about getting into Juilliard, so she was very good at being a piano player, at being a pianist. But she decides to go to Tennessee as well once she graduates, with the idea that something's going to happen between her and her brother's best friend. So she gets there, she sees him. He's acting a little weird, but things are starting to happen. They decide to start a friendship or a relationship. But lo and behold, our quarterback for the Tennessee players here is Parker, and he sees her, and he is Walker's brother. If you guys have read the other CRJ, the hockey books, he's Walker's brother. Yeah, I have my ball somewhere.
Football.
One ball, one football. But he is Walker's brother, and those boys, when they see the woman they want, that's it for them. They'll do anything to make it happen. So it is a darker, I wouldn't say it's extremely dark, but it's just along the same lines as CR Jane. Darker football romance. So I gave it 4 stars. I really loved it.
Sierra Jane writes, though, in such a way that, yes, I definitely feel like it's dark romance because of the topics and everything, but the way she writes it, you're not, like, when you read Take Me With You and he's, like, holding her, like, captive, you're like, oh, like, this is not good. Like, you feel for her, like, how horrible this is. In C.R. Jane's books, you're like, well, of course he's going to keep her there and get her fired from her job. That doesn't happen in that book, but
no.
Like, because he cares about her. Like, he just loves her so much.
It's for her own good.
Like, it's just, it's funny. It's like C.R. Jane can really gaslight the hell out of you with her heroes.
And you're going to thank her for it in the end. Yes, exactly.
Yes.
So, yeah, I love her. It's awesome. Okay, what is next for you?
Okay, so last week I talked about how all my favorite series like are coming to an end, which reminded me I really needed to read the last book in the Windy City series. So I read Rewind It Back by Liz Tomforty. So this is Rio's book finally, and Hallie. And I wrote absolutely no notes about this. So it's kind of hard to talk about a little bit. So Rio is, living his hockey life, and his next door neighbor has this person come in, and she's going to be the roommate, and she's doing interior design and everything. And he is like, well, I've done nothing to my house. I need to hire an interior designer. So let's go ahead and do this. And then when he finds out it's Hallie, he's like, oh, hell no. Because the two of them know each other, they have history. And so we see all of this in flashbacks of how they were once madly in love when they were teenagers, and how that completely changed, and they haven't talked to each other in like 6 years, and something happened that we don't know what it was. That was a big fallout between the two of them. And I just loved being back in this world so much. Liz Tomforty can just really write. So this is just, it's so well written, and I'm not doing it justice at all, but I just love the whole series. And Monty is getting a book, and it's supposed to come out like I think next spring, but it's going to be not part of the series. Like the series is done, but another character is getting like kind of a standalone book, is from my understanding. So another really good series done, but if you have not read this series, you're missing out. Go read it. It's really, really good. Can I think of anything else to say about the book to convince you to read it? I don't know. 5 stars.
Perfect. That would be it right there, the 5 stars.
Yes.
So, okay.
I loved it.
I'm glad. There wasn't much doubt that you would, but wouldn't. There wasn't much doubt that you would.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, the next book that I picked up, you can put that down now.
No, I'm gonna hold it.
All right, okay. So the next book that I have is a Claire Kent book that just came out on Tuesday of this past week. This is Protected. And this is about, it's a spinoff of her Kindle series. It's a standalone, and it is post-apocalyptic like her other ones, but it is kind of like an in-between. She's going to start a new series. And so this is like a standalone before that one starts. So it's kind of like how Last Light was before the Kindle series. So this is about Lila and Deck. Lila has been trying to survive the apocalypse. It's 2 years after the asteroid hit the Earth, and she is on her own. Her boyfriend has died. She is living across the street from the Walmart, and basically she is starving. And when people pull up to check out the Walmart, she will like steal any supplies that she can get from their vehicles. She goes to do that, and when these people show up in this caravan, and she is pulled out of the Jeep by this big, she keeps calling him Bigfoot, this big hairy dude, really big, and that is Deck. He has been through something pretty traumatic, and he has selective mutism, like he's mute, he doesn't talk, and that was a choice that he made. This group decides to keep her with them while they travel around, and Deck has been assigned to make sure that nothing happens to her and that she acclimates. And he is like this silent, brooding sentinel that's always around her. And at first, she's really angry about the stuff she's been through and what's happening, and she really hates him. But obviously, things will start to change. Loved it. Gave it 5 stars. I love me a mute hero, and that is what we got. So I love it. I love it. I like a man who doesn't talk.
I think you've expressed that more than once.
A few times, yeah. So,
all right.
Okay.
Well, next I read a book called Nailed by Claire Wilder. And this is about Sarah. Sarah, I think they said she's 39, and she has kind of a crush on her older boss. Her older boss, Jamie, kind of has a crush on her, but neither one of them has ever told each other that. So Jamie reacts in like that typical, I'll just kind of be a jerk and she'll not want me type thing, you know? And she is like a project manager, and the whole like a woman working kind of in a very male dominated world type thing. And they're going to this conference. It's snowy, so the 3 of them end up writing together. And I got so bored. Like, I like a good age gap, older boss type situation, but I got bored. She's a prisoner at the conference, and I felt like way too much of the book was about this conference than about their relationship. And she's 39. Like, it doesn't feel like that big of a deal that he is older than her and he likes her. Like, it just was a little perplexing to me about that. Like, if he was 39 and she was 20, then I could understand him being like, I already have kids. Like, I don't want to start over. I'm way too old for her. Mm-hmm. I understand that. She is 39. It doesn't make any sense to me why it's a big deal. And
once you get to a certain age, it wouldn't make a big deal. I couldn't imagine.
Got bored of their relationship. I rated it 3 stars, which might have been me being more nice. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, I don't care about your presentation at the work conference, or that you're trying to find a new job and you're making connections. I just got bored with the other stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I'm sorry. Please don't be mad. It's okay.
Why would I be mad? Well, since you didn't like your next book, that book, let's talk about the book that I didn't like that I read next.
Oh, good.
So this is Rewrite the Stars by Charlie Rose. This was recommended to me probably back like in 2020 or 2021. Why am I still like, okay, 2020 or 2021. And I probably should have read it then. I might have liked it then, but my tastes have changed so much since then. I've had it on my Kindle forever. So this is about Evan and Sebastian. Evan is, she's lived a life of privilege. Her father is a surgeon. Her mother is in politics. And she is 16. And they're like on a trip or something, or I don't know, she left the house. She ends up at a circus, and she sneaks in. And there are these guys there. Sebastian is one of them, and they do like the wheel of death, like the wheel thing with the motorcycles where they ride around and around on the motorcycles, the cage, and they end up pulling her in as a prop. And then she goes off with these guys that night and has a kiss with Sebastian, and it's like the best thing in the world. And then Sebastian gets arrested because the cops show up and find out where they are, and she is underage. Then we see a year later they run into each other, and they run into each other a year later, and it just kind of, it was very juvenile. She was 16 when it started. It just didn't do it for me. This bad boy, like they were just so young. So I gave it 2 stars. That is my personal thing. It had nothing to do with the writing or the story itself. It was just that they were young and I didn't like it. I don't want to read about a girl at the age of 16 finding a bad boy. How bad is he really when he is barely in his 20s? He hasn't lived long enough to be bad. So it just didn't work. Sorry?
You're not coming off very sincere.
It didn't work for me. If you want to read something like this, great, go do it. But it bothered. That's why I can't read. There are exceptions to every rule. Typically, high school doesn't work for me, and this just felt like they were in high school and like I don't know. You run off and join the circus when you're in high school? Okay, sure. Anyhow.
Okay, let's talk about a book I loved. How about that?
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, so next I read Pretty Cruel Love by Whitney G, which was our buddy read with Amber and Jen. And you can go watch the whole thing over on Jen's channel, Bookmarked by Jen. I'll tell you what it was about so you know, because we do talk about the whole book on our buddy reads, so there will be spoilers. So this is about Sadie. Sadie was convicted of murdering 3 people, and she is in jail serving, her, I think it was like a lifetime sentence, or it's like consecutive. I don't remember. She's going to be there for a really long time. And she's already been there for what, about 7 years, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But she's telling us that she's innocent. So this is a thriller. So you don't know if that's true because she's been convicted. And she gets called into the warden's office and she's told that she has been selected to participate in this program that Dr. Ethan, was it Weiss? Why Weiss?
Yeah,
Is going to be conducting. And basically what this program is he takes inmates, takes them to this cabin for 2 weeks. He's thoroughly researched them. And he believes that he can determine if they will be successful going back into society or not, and if they should be allowed out of prison. And he's got like this wild success rate of like 100% and has been doing this for 7 years. I'm going to just leave it at that. I really, really enjoyed it. I rated it 5 stars.
Good for you.
I like a good thriller.
Yeah, I know. Was that your last one for the week, or do you got another one?
I have one more after that.
Okay, so this is my last one for the week. Wish that worked out.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So this was actually a reread for me. It is not one that I talk about all that often. I read it like back in the day, like when I really first started reading. But this is Wildling by Lynn Burke. What are you doing?
I'm zoning in on you. I have
Okay.
that on my Kindle. It's
I
been there
know,
for a
it's
really long
good.
time.
It is one, like when I first read it, there was only like 60 reviews or something on Goodreads for it. It's just one that nobody talks about, and it really should be talked about. So this is like the second book in her Midnight Sun series. You can read it as a standalone, because I started with the second book and then I went back to the first and then the third. So this is about Sage. This takes place in Alaska. Sage lives in a small Alaskan town. She works at one of the retail stores in town. I think it's like a feed store or something. And she meets guys that fly in all the time from the bush. They come in several times throughout the year, before the winter and right after in the spring. And that is where she meets this guy who the fall before, because this is taking place in spring. So in the fall, she's met him. He's taken her on a few dates. He's definitely older than her, but he lives out on his own homestead out in the wilderness of Alaska. And now it's spring. He's come back to town. He's taken her on a couple of days. She's not really feeling a lot of sparks, but her parents are hoarders. She's very quiet. She's very timid. And she needs to get out of that situation. And so when he asks her to marry him, even though she knows nothing about him, she agrees and she marries this guy. Then the float plane takes them to to his homestead, and that is where she meets his son. So she, I think, is 24 and his son is 18. But Flynn has been raised in the wild. His mom died when he was 8, and he's lived 10 years with his father. And the
Look
guy
at you
that
mathing.
I know the guy that he promised his mom on her deathbed that he would take care of his pa, but his dad, the man that Sage married, is an abusive asshole, and he's abused Flynn and he will abuse her. And so this is dark. They do get into quite a few things. Quite a few things happen here. They obviously form a bond and a connection. But you've also got the abusive, very mean father that is there, which is the man that she married, and they're isolated. They're in the middle of nowhere. So good. It's still a 5-star read for me. I loved it. I love it so much.
Okay.
Okay. What's your last book?
So my last book is an ALC by Natasha Madison, and that is Forgotten Dreams. So it's another series that is ending. So this is book 5. I know, it's book 5.
Whoa. Wait. My finger keeps slipping. The unmute is right below solo layout, and they've just changed. I don't know if yours looks different. They've just changed this layout. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
I don't like the change. It's confusing.
I don't. Yeah, I don't like the way it looks.
Obviously, you're struggling with it.
I'm so struggling.
So
Okay.
this is narrated by Gregory Salinas and Savannah Peachwood. I really enjoy their narration. So we have Sierra. Sierra is 25 and she is looking for something in the attic when she discovers adoption paperwork and finds out that she was adopted at birth after she was left as an infant at a fire station. No note, nothing, just left there, according to the newspaper article that she finds. She is devastated to learn that she was adopted and that her parents kept this from her. So she decides to go to Mount Gavin, where the fire station was that she was left. She buys a house there. It is a major fixer-upper. So she hires Caleb to fix the house up for her. Her and Caleb kind of hit it off a little bit, but he dated her friend from the other book. And so she's like, I can't really date you, but she likes him, that sort of thing. And so it takes them a while to get past that. And then things heat up between the two of them very, very quickly. But somebody does not want her. Oh, I forgot to set the timer. You muted me and I got distracted. Sorry. Somebody does not want her looking into this adoption and they are trying to scare her away. Okay. I rated it 4 stars.
Okay.
I enjoyed it.
Good.
I'm sad the series is over. I would just like to do a PSA. I was adopted at birth. Adoption is a wonderful thing. Don't keep that from your child. If your child is adopted, they should grow up knowing. It's very easy to do that. My mom did a wonderful job. It was my favorite bedtime story about how my parents got me. It focused on how they chose me and how excited they were to get me and that sort of thing. And she didn't know a lot about my birth parents, but she would just simply state that they gave her the greatest gift ever because they knew that they couldn't take care of me and they wanted me to have a good home and loving parents. And that was just the greatest gift anybody could have ever given her. So you can make adoption be like a really wonderful thing. You do not have to keep it a secret and have somebody find papers. And I know this is a fictional story, but there are so many people out there that happens to, and it shouldn't be that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you for coming to my little TED Talk.
Okay, cool. All right. Yay for adoption. All right.
That sounded a little snarky.
I didn't mean it that way. If it wasn't for adoption, I wouldn't have my bestie. Because you had to come to school with me. I don't know. God might have done it a different way. I don't know. Adoption's an amazing thing. So,
yes.
All right. Well, there was our week. It was a very long week, as you guys can tell. We got all the books in. The books in, apparently.
You were gone, so I wasn't talking to you on the phone. And look how much more I could read.
I was completely disconnected from everything. Look how much I could read. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's great. because I really was only gone for 2 full days. I left in the afternoon on the first day and came home late morning on that Friday. So it was really just 2 full days. Technically 3 if you want to add that one, those 2 days together. Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay, let's wrap this up.
Done.
Yeah, I know. I want to go eat. Let's wrap this up.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, well, make sure to check back on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and sometimes Wednesdays for new videos from us. And we'd love to hear about your reading week in the comments below.
Did you get lots of reading in? Because I was gone too. Anyhow, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.